Haha, peons, we are back. Lita's here. Yes, right on cue. Welcome back to another Survivor Maryland recap. We are doing Guts and Glory Merge episode, and I'm here with my favorite butt buddies. Look, that's how they're described. It's all about the duos. So first up, we have, as always, Lita Roman. Lita, what's on your mind?
I'm just happy. You're kind of like the Molly of Danny and my relationship, where like we could just kind of bring you in, and threesomes are really powerful. So whoever can pick you up is pretty lucky there. But I would describe Danny and I as butt buddies, obviously. And then you're someone who just kind of like comes in when we need a vote.
Right. Sometimes people forget about me when they're trying to count numbers.
Honestly, I'm trying to count numbers. I just forget about you. You're the Alan, the Molly of my life. Yes,
I feel that way often. It comes across. And we also have another guest today, or for the first time. I think it's your first Survivor episode recap ever. You've been done a Q&A with me. Maybe you did like a preseason thing with Anders, if I'm remembering correctly, but I don't even... Did that happen?
I don't know. I think this is my first intentional podcast. I've had a couple of moments where I popped in and out. I'm very excited to discuss this season because it was my first ever Survivor anything. Before Guts and Glory, I thought that Survivor and Lost were the same thing, which is exciting because now we're watching Lost for the first time.
Yeah.
But this episode in particular taught me that only men can target people, and that is the most macho thing you can do in Survivor.
And women famously also cannot remember orders of objects.
Correct.
Well, no, actually.
Okay, but also all of the women went out. Only one man was out by the time all of the women were out.
Yes. Lita, we talked about the famously sexist challenge of the cup, or the whatever the thing was in Terrapin Trials. Truly, the memory challenge was the sexist challenge.
Austin, you should have made it remembering grocery lists or recipes. Women can't think. We don't think about ships. It was nice of you to put a flower on there for us in a heart.
In a heart.
But the
turtles
ships,
are very androgynous.
Turtles are very masculine. Because I don't know, they're very hard on the outside. That didn't come out how I meant it to be. I meant because men can't show emotions.
Right,
and also, they're slow and I don't care for them.
Yes, I do find myself saying that.
I prefer the Maryland birds with a Y, whatever that is. I'm always commenting on people's shirts.
That guy, they changed this.
Bird, BYRD, was a canceled, I believe, former racist person that they named the football stadium out of. So,
he was a former racist? Okay.
Well, now he's formally alive. So he was racist as long as he was existing.
He was
he was a former person who was racist, not a former racist person.
Yes. Right. He's a known segregationalist, so I don't think you actually prefer the birds. Okay,
well, that's the last name spelled the same way of my childhood babysitter, who I'm still in touch with.
Well, we could name it after her.
Sue Bird?
I don't know.
Yeah, Buddy Bird.
Speaking of, I'm glad we came here. I feel bad because I'm looking at it, not speaking of it all, actually. This is a total separate segue. But Danny's name says Fantica of the Opera, and I just wanted people to know that because it is cut off on the screen.
It looks like on my screen, Fantica of the Stantica.
Let's go well together. My initial one was apples. Lita, I just wanted to ask off the top, did you watch the end scene or did you not?
Wait, the end scene?
Did you get past the last vote? Or Brandon's
No, I didn't know there was something else.
Oh,
it's like comment and subscribe, so I thought that was the
I knew that probably happened. There's a small scene after that.
Oh, you're like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, an after credits scene. Well, while Danny's giving takes about something, it's not like the most exciting thing, but it's Renee talking about how Evan says apples, and it's good.
It's because he's from Chicago. Bitch, I'm from Chicago.
Which is similar to being from Minnesota.
Yeah. He and Sunday would have made an iconic final two.
I think they were aligned in Reunion.
Fish out of Chicago.
And he's Dizzy that too, which is a callback to Sunday.
Oh, I'm excited for Dizzy Bat on wet concrete, which is a lawsuit waiting to happen.
It's not supposed to be on concrete. They went way farther back than they should have. It is not supposed to be on concrete, for the record.
Okay.
But we'll save that for next week's podcast.
Okay.
This is why Inside Higher Ed did a hit piece on Survivor Maryland and college survivor safety. So that did happen. Anyway, we're here to talk about the Guts and Glory merch episode, which I enjoyed on the rewatch. Lita, we'll start with you. What was your overall feeling on the episode?
Too much strategy for me at the end there. I was like, I don't understand like most of what's. I always need like a Micah-esque whiteboard diagram to be like on the screen while people are scheming, because I don't know what anybody's talking about. But definitely some fun moments. A lot of quotes. I feel like my opinions on a lot of people get solidified at the merge. So I feel like I have pretty locked in like who I'm rooting for and who I'm not at this point.
Do you want to go into that, or?
Well, I just mean like it's not like anything shocking, but it's just very much like obviously the Soka trio is like way better TV than almost anybody else. Alex, I want to stick around as long as possible, as long as there's no threat of him winning, because it's hilarious that he's there and everybody hates him. And just like the classic thing of like the person who, the very obvious merge boot, like the wild card challenge threat that nobody likes, winning immunity. It's just like very classic, good situation. I feel like I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's watching, but like I don't know how Alex does, but can I just like say that he doesn't win? Because I just did, but like, I just want to explain to people, like, I have no idea how he does. Maybe he comes in second, and maybe that is a big spoiler, but I just want to explain to people that this is different than watching like, I would be rooting really hard against Alex right now, normally. But I want to like explain that to people.
Yeah, I mean, okay, if you are not spoiled somehow in the season, and I'm pretty sure everybody watching this is, but
that's
just
what I thought. Yeah,
you're not. Well, also Danny only I think knows the winner too in terms of placement. So
yeah, I don't know who comes in second or anything.
Yeah. So tune out for the next, let's say, 1 minute. Did you want to explain? Or you guys, you already kind of did explain what you were talking about.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Tune out. Okay.
No, I just mean like I would generally be rooting against this type of person, because this is the type of person that people can always say, well, he's an easy vote for next time, and he could tarry his way to the end and win. And I would very much not want that to happen, but I think it's an odd experience not knowing anything except who wins, because you are able to root for good TV without fear in a way that you can't when somebody, like, I feel like it's like people watching Philippines on a rewatch or something, like knowing that Abby Maria does not go to the end, I feel like is such a relaxing experience, and you can just enjoy the ride and the TV knowing that she doesn't win.
Yeah, Danny didn't experience that relaxingness.
Exactly, but I feel like it's a lot less stressful on a rewatch. Not just because, like, obviously you're not scared that Abby is going to win, because, like, what is that situation? But it's sort of just, like, knowing how it all ends up. I feel like I was so stressed out watching Abby all the time because conflict, like, really bothers, like, I don't like to watch it. So Philippine, like, knowing how it all turns out and knowing who she is, like, in real life as a person, it's like a much better rewatch for me. So this is kind of a similar thing where, like, knowing that he isn't able to, immunity his way all the way to the win. Maybe it is to the end. I don't know. That's why I'm able to root for him going further.
I'm sure, especially when you feel like you like the winner, where you can root for those things and it's not coming at the expense of something you're like, oh, I really wish it had been that person.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like the Soka trio and Alex, and I am glad that just the people that I don't care about are not just me not remembering Alex or Alan or Molly ever, but nobody remembers them. So that's great.
Yeah. It's not just you. Mm-hmm. I try to the edit usually follows the season and the perceptions people have. I try.
Yeah.
Danny, this was your first time watching. We watched the last episode and this one, so you were kind of caught up a little bit. But what was it like being back into it? What was your overall feeling on the episode? Now that you've seen so much Survivor.
Yeah, now that I actually understand Survivor. No, to echo Lita's point, my first watch, I used most of the strategy time as nap time. Famously fell asleep during most of the strategy post-challenge in every episode.
Yeah, everyone, the first gentleman of Survivor Maryland falls asleep watching.
It's true.
Just strategy. It's boring.
Right. Yeah, just win challenges. That's the answer.
No, just have iconic quotes.
Well, also the answer. No, but I think now that I get Survivor a little bit more, I enjoyed this. And also having known the winner and kind of watching bits and pieces unfold here. And over the last 2 episodes that we watched today and yesterday, I'm enjoying that a lot. I will say that my largest takeaway of this episode is homophobia. I think Brandon is just my favorite in real life. So I'm very upset to see the result. But there's also a lot of targeting of Brandon and a lot of shit talking of Brandon. And I wasn't there. I don't know how annoying Brandon was in college or if he was, but
I don't know if he was annoying. I think it would just, like Evan said, like it would have been a failure if Brandon made it further because Brandon didn't do anything.
Yeah, but like Brandon had a duo.
Brandon had a butt buddy.
Brandon had a butt
buddy.
That's important.
Yeah. And then also
Danny is famously one of the. I also do love Brandon, but
are you a stand-in?
Danny is a stand-in.
No, I like Brandon.
Okay, I did ask earlier in the season. I asked Austin if he was a gay man.
Brandon,
he's in the LGBT community.
That's what you said, yeah. So I'm glad to know that we can attribute this to homophobia. It won't just be me.
Yeah, I mean, right.
Honestly, nothing has been more homophobic than voting out Sherry. I will not comment further.
Have you the real life trajectory of Sherry has been one of the most incredible.
We're not getting into that.
No, okay.
Sherry has had a glow up is maybe the way to say it, but not that Sherry wasn't. Sherry was adorable and beautiful from the beginning. She just she's got like a new sides to her. She's amazing.
What is she like an OnlyFans star?
No, it's not that.
What's her? Drop her Insta. I feel like I'll find stuff out there.
I'll text it to you.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I did write down, skipping ahead to the very end, I wrote down, Brandon says in his last words, I had no regrets. And I said, ... except voting out Sherry, huh?
Yeah.
Jerk. Should we, let me open up the White Claw since we're at the top of the episode. We are all, we're sponsored by White Claw this episode.
Every episode.
Yes. I guess we can, I don't know, do we want to get the drinking out of the way? Do we want to do it as we go along?
I don't know.
I was aware of the drinking game and was definitely keeping notes and tallies on things.
Do you want to just let's get it out at the top then?
Okay.
Or getting all of it, or starting with all of it? Should we space it?
No, we do all of it.
I think we do all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So what did you have in your notes?
Oh goodness. Well, I think I have one that kind of captures 2 different things at once. So we have back-to-back in-car confessionals, yes. One of them featuring the song Way Up by Drake.
I was about to say, I couldn't hear exactly what that song was, but it sounded familiar. And I said, whatever that song is, it's my That's So 2015 moment.
So is that 3?
Well, I had a different 2015 moment. Yeah, so then we had the Renee Shannon car conversation.
We just drank 3.
I agree, right.
Okay, so that was the first one. We had well, Danny, you keep going on your notes.
Oh goodness. I have a lot. I don't even know. I wrote a lot of things down. I've never heard of Screencastify, but I assume that's 2015.
No, 2015 moments aren't drinking.
Those are not drinking games.
That's just their own thing. You can drink to those, but that's not part of it.
Wait, being sassy to Austin is one of them, right?
Well, then we're going to be drinking the entire time.
Well, I think Renee says he absolutely hates you.
Well, yeah.
For having the merch. Does that count as being
true.
sassy?
I think that counts, yeah.
Did Alex say anything ridiculous?
I didn't think there was anything in particular. I might have had one that I wrote down.
I have one for Alex. It wasn't really him being ridiculous, but like he won the challenge, and then his his physical reaction to winning was just like, yeah, of course.
I had a thing. Did you notice that Alex was not wearing shoes during the challenge?
It helps you think.
It doesn't surprise me.
What if he needed to do a backflip when he won?
I am surprised.
Layouts aren't even that hard.
Yeah, layouts aren't even that hard.
Right.
I've seen both of you try to do cartwheels, so I can confidently say that layouts are probably hard.
I had that Nicola mentioned that Alan played in season 1, so that was a drink.
Yes, and I also thought that maybe Austin, you being like, Nicola, you made it to the merge, counts as referencing her playing before. I wasn't sure though.
We'll count it.
Also, I want to sneak preview for our next podcast. I'm working on a Nicola impression. I'm not ready to unveil it live, but I think I can put together a pretty solid Molly and Nicola conversation very soon. I just need to work on it.
Can you put together an impersonation of Brandon putting together an impersonation of Alex?
Wait, Brandon did an impression of Alex?
Oh, many of them, though. The groggily whisper.
Isn't that one of the drinking games? Somebody doing an impression of somebody else?
It wasn't, but we could make that
one to me, but
I don't know why I thought that was. Okay.
Okay.
Brandon really was very excited throughout the last 2 episodes to do impressions of Alex.
He's pretty easy to impersonate.
Yeah. We're gonna have a secret meeting at the.
Oh right, he's Batman. I forgot.
I think that's all I had from the drinking game quotes. Anything else that you had, Danny?
I could have used more Austin being sassed, but this is all Gen 1, so your players respect you.
That's not necessarily true.
Austin, before I forget, how tall is Brandon? I've never seen anybody make you look short before. When you're snuffing his torch, I was like, what the hell? Yeah.
Brandon, the tribe has spoken. Yeah. Brandon is very tall, and I wrote down one of the few people who I felt very short stuffing in torch. I felt like Jeff Probst, actually.
Yeah, because Jeff Probst is famously a short king.
Yes.
Because you're like a sensible 74 inches, right?
A sensible.
Also, the math on that is actually very close.
No, it's actually right. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little taller.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting semantics.
A sensible 74 is like 6'1.5" or something.
Should we?
Yeah.
Isn't that literally 6'2"?
6'2".
Oh, maybe. I can't do math.
72 is 6 feet, so 74.
Okay, I believe you.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm literally not gonna get defensive about my math. I don't know the answer, and I believe you.
Every man knows exactly how many inches are in 6 feet and chases it, and I have been chasing.
Yeah, I know, because my tweet was men lying on Tinder about how many inches tall they are, and it was the gif of Jujubee saying a sensible 74.
Who we continue to stand. Love
her. Danny, who at this point of the season are you rooting for?
Where are you rooting for?
Right. Reminds me of kind of the send-off that you had post-tribal.
Oh.
Well, anyway, all right, yeah, I'll see you got a challenge soon, and okay.
I think you used the word "figure it out" 3 different times. It was you should make sure that you figure it out, but next week, figure it out. So to your question, on first watch, and it still holds up, Soka Trio has always been my fave. I continue to Soka stan the Soka Trio for Soka ever. I love Evan, and I mean, it's impossible to not love Micah, and we also love Shannon, so I feel like there's just zero misses there.
That is the Soka Trio.
The best for them as we move forward.
I don't necessarily agree that Evan is the brains and Micah is the something else that they said. I don't remember what they said, but they said that Evan is the brains, and I think Micah's a smart guy.
I think it's just that Evan is the most strategic coming in.
Happy birthday, Evan, happy birthday, Micah, by the way.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I was supposed to pass along, Evan has said that no holds barred in analysis and criticism of him. So
okay.
I wish that I had more criticism of him. I did say in the first episode that he's nicer in person than he is on the show.
That's what he was like, I don't want Lita to just say I'm nice. I'm not that nice.
No, I mean, as a person he is. I'd say he comes off worse on the show.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which I guess is nicer than if I said the opposite. I'm like, oh, he seems really cool in the show, but in the person, he's an asshole.
Well, let's start off with the episode, we start off as all episodes should with an Alex chess analogy.
Yes.
Yep. Any comments on? Well, maybe we'll go person by person since we have both of you. So, how are we feeling about Alex in general?
Love Alex.
Iconic.
I think Alex's ability to think that he is somehow smarter than he is, knowing that he and his brother are very, very, very smart human beings, is unbelievable to me.
Wait,
he has so much confidence.
Who's his brother?
Nick Pascal, who is a original season one, but also friend group of Austins from college.
I also think that this is the second time I have forgotten and then relearned that this is Alex Pascal, who is the name that I've heard.
Yes.
So he's on All Stars.
Yes.
Spoiler.
Okay. Spoiler is he can finish in any place and be on All Stars.
Yeah, I mean, especially at this point, I feel like it's justified.
Yeah. Spoilers, Alex was available for All Stars. But okay, this is a name that I have heard before. But we've definitely already had this conversation that I forgot again. There's too many people with multiple contestants having the same name. That was the worst.
Maryland has a lot of Alexes and a lot of
Alexes and Katie's. I never know who is an iconic one and who isn't because you just see their first name.
Yeah, throwback to before Lita watched Survivor. Was a fan-made Survivor Savant. We were playing what was it? Cheers to the Governor, and one of the rules was a Survivor Maryland player, and people were just like Alex, Katie.
Yeah,
Emily.
Yes, but I didn't need that rule to lose my turn and Cheers to the Governor because I will lose on every turn because Charles and me being next to each other was a bad idea.
Famously, women in memory challenges. Am I right?
I know. Famously, women and being my own flip cup team and being really drunk prior to that.
So we start off with Alex, and he said he it's like losing a piece of the chess piece, and all I could think of, Danny, was that lost puzzle piece that we couldn't find that ended up being in your sweater. That we had a 1,000-piece puzzle, one piece was missing, and then 2 months later it was just happened to be in your clothes.
Yeah. Well,
wait, you think he stole it?
I don't know how I'm being blamed for this. I don't understand how this is my fault in any way, shape, or form that the puzzle piece was in my hoodie that I was wearing when we were going through the puzzle. Whatever. I don't know what I mean.
Here's what I'm going to warn you guys about getting a pet when you're doing puzzles, is that Maria, my cat, constantly likes to sleep on puzzles while I'm doing them. So I always end up missing a piece because they get stuck to her belly or whatever, and she just walks around and they're gone. I
did not think that was what you were going to say because, and I don't know if this is offensive to your cat, but I believe you've said it anyway, but Maria is she's a little rotund, and I pictured her eating a puzzle piece.
Oh my God. Maria doesn't even eat people food. We don't know why she's fat. That's just who she is. Literally, we've offered her people food and she doesn't want it. She just is fat.
Much like Madame Maxine. There was
big boned is all it is. Giant. I have never been so insulted. Yes. Anyway, if you get a dog and you start missing puzzle pieces go missing, it's probably because it got stuck to your dog's belly and he carried it somewhere else, or she. But all dogs are boys, as we know.
All of them.
And all cats are girls.
Yeah. We then go. The whole tribe basically seems to be interested in besides potentially Katie, but everyone else is down to throw the challenge to get Alex out. And Renee says that he wants an Oscar for the performance last episode, and I said that maybe he could get a Best Supporting Actor Emmy.
Yeah, who's he nominated against if he deserves an Oscar so much? I don't know who else is nominated. No? Okay. I thought you were going to present some other nominees.
I would put Katie in that mix, and I would put Evan's relationship with Alex in that mix. I think somewhere in that 3, everyone's lying to each other except for Alex. I think Alex thinks everyone's being genuine, and Katie and Evan are both just I'm just gonna lie my face off.
Wow, the 2015 Best Actor category in real life was not iconic. If we're doing iconic or not iconic, maybe Renee could have won.
Renee Zellweger.
I mean,
She's the reigning best actress, but I would vote for Renee over Eddie Redmayne in The Theory of Everything, Bradley Cooper in American Sniper, Benedict Cumberbatch in The Imitation Game, and Steve Carell over Foxcatcher. The winner was Michael Keaton in Birdman.
Steve Carell was nominated for Best Actor?
What?
Steve Carell got a Best Actor nom?
For Foxcatcher, yeah. But Michael Keaton won, I think, but and I'll only let that slide because he's a Pittsburgh legend.
But also, Imitation Game was so good, I thought.
Okay, I just don't care for Benedict Cumberbatch.
Whatever.
I really didn't even explain that Lita and Danny are both from Pittsburgh and both happen to go to the same high school together. But it's irrelevant here. You guys already said you were butt buddies, so.
I mean,
anybody who went to Winchester Thurston, automatic butt buddy.
I mean, it's not completely untrue. So
yeah, everyone was gay at that school.
Well, speaking of butt buddies, we're now going to the segment that I like to call "Turn Up, Katie." I have a better name for it, but Katie is not happy about Last Tribal, and as a big Katie fan, I always like seeing her get fired up, and she was very fired up at this point. What was our Lita? What was your feeling on Katie? Katie this episode. Katie this moment.
Katie on the warpath.
Katie on the warpath. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was I said last week that I wasn't expecting this because I've never seen this side of Katie before. I've never seen fiery Katie, so when I saw the next time on, I was like, oh wow. I feel like it kind of fell on deaf ears though, because the thing is that like the thing that a man will like never admit he is like second to or following orders from another man. So I feel like when Katie says this to Matt is just like, no, that's not true. That's not me. Like, he doesn't say it to her, but then in confessional, he's like, I'm just going to let Katie think that, like, whatever, like, it's not really what's happening. So, like, I feel like this is not necessarily the best approach to change hearts and minds, but I do like that she's open to Alex as a butt buddy because she's realizing what the situation is here and she's weighing her options. And so, she sees this as potential rather than just being like, okay, let me just stick with the numbers for now, because if it's not, like, as long as it's not me, which she could easily do as long as Alex is still in the game, but decides to leverage that more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is really they sort of got thrown together out of Alex. I don't remember how he described it, out of necessity, something like that. A marriage of convenience, as you will.
Yeah. I also really enjoyed her like finding that everyone is a pair and her pair went out, and then like her kind of discovery toward getting there and how she uses the phrase "final four my ass." I have heard your discussion previously or heard of it and know that we were talking about this Final Four alliance being probably one of the worst in the history of Survivor.
And as Brandon can attest, if you want to go far, don't say the words core four.
Yeah.
Core four. Bad idea. Never gonna happen.
He literally used the word core four.
I know, yeah, in his final words. And it's like, okay, just don't call your alliance that, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so Danny, did you what did you think of Katie here?
I mean, I love Katie. I also think that it's really interesting to see Katie On's game, which is generally very much reserved and kind of like pulling the strings and moving people, but in more of a quiet way, to like being on the phone screaming at Matt and calling him a bitch. Like I really enjoyed that because she's right. And I also enjoyed that she did that in front of Alex because I think it solidified her with Alex to hear, because Alex had kind of made a little bit of a reaction too when she said to Matt, like, you're the only person in this game that I trust besides Michelle, like in front of Alex. And I think like her playing really, really hard in front of him earned his trust and had him like pull her in. So it created the like the trifecta confessionals that we saw later in the episode, I think, like in that moment where she reached across the aisle and was like, Alex, let's be a pair because we have to be, and we're both alone here. And to your point, convenience.
Yeah, I agree with both of your points. I wrote down some nice quotes from Katie. Aforementioned final four my ass. Well, also there was a quote about they just throw you around like a little dog. And I was like, who treats their dog by just throwing it around everywhere? Like, messed up.
She called him a bitch and then called him a dog and it did feel like there was a parallel there. Like, but third grade me came out there a little bit when it was like, oh, you can call people bitch because it's female dog. Like, definitely saw the
Oh
parallel.
my God. I don't
Learned.
I don't love that as like a term for like, you know, following other people, you know what I mean? As like an emasculating term. Like, obviously I love the word bitch, but I love it in more of like either you're a mean person, you're a bitch, like who's like, you know, in charge of yourself, or like, you know,
Yes, bitch.
the way that I call all of my friends. Yeah.
I also wrote drink every time Katie says literally.
Well, I'm dead.
Oh wow. I didn't track that.
It was a lot. And also, you know, she called Renee and Matt the Chris and Steve, which would make some sense to you, Lita, even not having seen Maryland Outback. But you know, so much for Renee thinking that the guy-girl pairing was the strongest pairing there is.
A guy-girl pairing is an unbeatable combo. I don't know why you would abandon that strategy.
So we should be tracking. We have Alex and Katie right now as a guy-girl pairing. We have
You mean as a butt buddies?
As a guy-girl butt buddy.
Yeah.
We have no longer Nicole and Brandon. You got to split up that guy-girl butt buddy. And do we have any other ones?
Shannon Evan, and then Shannon Micah.
Yeah.
And then also Micah and Evan.
And also Micah Evan.
Yeah.
A devil's butt buddy.
All right, so we transition over to the Soka trio. Evan says to Micah, "I'm in a new alliance," so really fooled him with that one.
Got him.
And Evan comes clean to the trio about having the one idol. I wrote these down and I just said them, but I don't have any. Does anyone have any thoughts on the trio at this point? We can probably move on.
I want to see Micah's daily list of things that he was expecting.
I wrote that down. Okay, we can talk about that. Yes. When was it? Micah said.
On the list of things that I was expecting, the merge was not on it.
Yes, I wrote down. What was Micah's list of things he expected to happen that night?
I like to think that Micah wakes up every morning and makes a list of things that he is expecting to happen. Then he can consult. Was that on? It's like people who are like, this was not on my 2020 bingo.
I think Micah was thinking that maybe we would have a wine night at the challenge.
Ooh. You should have a sommelier challenge if nobody's sober, identifying kinds of wine.
I like that.
Like, put a blindfold on them and pour them wine, and they have to determine if it's like a Cab or a Sauvignon Blanc.
I mean, I would A, completely fail that, and B,
like, this is a wine.
A really great thing for an RA to be doing with some of his residents. Although we saw that Katie this episode said, "I'm your RA," so
she didn't just say that. She said, "Next year I will cut you if you break this alliance."
Which, as most RAs would.
Yeah, it's the responsible thing to do. I remember my RA being like, "If you take drugs in the dorms, I will cut you."
Right. It felt very familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if we want to keep a running tally of Katie's semi-unethical things that she's done to advance her into the season, it is now that plus stealing Pokemon games.
I know. I wonder if he ever got those back.
I didn't know, by the way, speaking of merge, that this is, I was listening for it. I heard merge, and I don't know if I heard merger.
That's because Michelle's gone.
But I was very excited. I think a couple other people said it the previous episode, too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but Michelle was really leading the merger cause.
Off camera, Austin sat down with people and was like, "It's merge."
Listen up, you business students. Not everything is a merger.
Well, that's actually, so I saw that you said that, and when we were watching the episode, before I saw that was your reaction, I turned to Austin and said, "Yeah, it's an M&A," and so I'm glad we're on the same page there.
What's
merger and acquisition.
You're gonna make Lita hate
what you said.
That's
Same page.
No.
Yes.
I don't agree
we're on the same page
with business terms.
We're on the same page.
We had a scene of Molly and Brandon as a former little duo. Another famous guy-girl pairing. What do we think of the Molly and Brandon duo?
It's a great duo for the people who talk too fast for me to watch them on 1.25 speed. These are the two people that I do have to slow it down to regular speed.
Danny?
I believe this conversation between the two of them was the first time that I heard anyone say Evan's name. And I don't know how many other people said it other than Alex coming to Evan being like, "Play your idol," but that was when they were both like kind of introduced, hey, this is who we want to go for, which was set up the rest of the episode. Very important conversation.
I just don't understand not splitting the votes on, like, they had the numbers and they knew for a fact that Evan had an idol. So why
is it backwards? Why not split?
it could have been 4-3-3. I don't understand.
So it was 11, so they had 7-4, so it would have been 4.
You forgot about Alan. That was the problem.
As usual, when counting the numbers, you forget about Alan.
Oh, it would have been 4-4-3?
Yeah.
But that's fine. Then they revote.
No, the 4 would have been on. If the 4 plays the idol, then you splitting doesn't.
Right. Okay.
I also think that it's really hard with that first merge vote, especially with there being kind of a few different coalitions to fully know, like, are Katie and Alex on board? Molly, probably yes, but you don't know for sure. So Katoa. So I think it's hard either way, but also I don't think numbers wise.
Okay, well then, if you can't do it this time, the move is to vote out one of Evan's numbers. And then next time you can split the vote and be guaranteed.
Which is what they did the previous vote, like to target Alex, because they were like, oh, just get rid of one of Alex's people, like to protect for an idol. And they just didn't do that this time.
Yeah.
I mean, also this
there's
episode,
enough time and people that they could have just taken out one of Evan's numbers.
Right. Well, especially like you knew that Evan had an idol. You didn't even know that Alex had an idol. So like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but it's kind of the same though because I think that there was the same level of suspicion about Alex because there were so many rumors going around about him as there was for Evan. But it's hard because I think this episode showed the pitfalls of leaving that person like Alex in, where it directly screwed their games because he presented the information. And maybe that means they should have just played it differently and they would have been okay. But it was hard to manage the Katie situation. But I think that did definitely.
I also agree that it didn't make sense to not vote out Alex.
Yeah.
Well, they should have just left him out of this vote. If we're being honest, like Alex should have been totally in the blind and should have like voted as a 1. But whatever, can't rewrite history.
You can.
Not yet.
You can, but it doesn't work.
Yeah.
What about herstory?
You can rewrite that.
Oh, okay. With the baddest bitches.
Yes. But only as an empowerment term.
Yes, not in the way that Matt is a bad bitch.
That is Matt's.
What's up,
Let's
Austin?
move to the merge. We had a what?
Just Danny and I could just like fuck around forever. You need to like.
I'll never be invited back.
You guys can keep going if you want. I don't care.
So when I was taking notes, I have a list not only of the drinking game things and the things that were happening and fun quotes, but I also wrote down odd visuals that if I was just sitting with Austin, I'd probably pick on him and be like, "Hey, why did you include that?" So things to this point that are part of the odd visuals is this continuing snapping bananas visual between Renee and Matt paired with an awkward bro hug that I'm not sure why we keep seeing.
Oh my God, I hated when I was in college and I would walk in on guys snapping bananas in my dorm, snapping their bananas.
Snapping their bananas.
I lived in a co-ed dorm. It was a huge problem.
We were in a co-ed dorm too, and I was like the last room before the girls' side, which is probably the right place.
We didn't have girls and boys side. I lived between two boys.
Oh, that's really terrifying.
They've been starting to do that. Maryland has been moving in that direction because it was kind of a ridiculous concept.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing we didn't share was bathrooms, and even at Oberlin, there's co-ed bathrooms in the dorms. Like it happens, but yeah, it was actually very unpleasant living, like sharing a wall with 2 boys in college. But I did meet one of my best friends because he was in the dorm across from me, and in very typical Lita fashion, I tried to date him, and then he came out a year later, which is very classic for my particular inclinations.
I started dating Danny, and then I also came out. So,
oh well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Similar experiences.
Which made our Uber ride where I was flirting with you, Austin, totally moot.
I just do not remember that at all. Zero recollection, which probably says more about me, but just absolutely nothing.
Wow, you don't even remember our first time hanging out?
No, I remember the general experience, but I don't remember this Uber ride.
Yeah, you and I split an Uber back to Brooklyn or whatever.
Just the 2 of us?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I know.
What were we talking about?
It was not orchestrated. We were just talking about DC because we both like kind of live there.
This was orchestrated too. Oh man, was I vibing? Like
It wasn't totally orchestrated. I felt like we were vibing because we hit it off right away. I was like, oh, this is
I thought you were really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're still friends.
Vibes are right.
This was completely not even remotely in my mind as this was going on.
Goes on Instagram. Oh, Austin has a boyfriend. Wait. Is that Danny Hoffman?
I know that's straight.
I know that's straight. Wow, these two are really good friends. These are buddies, pals, amigos, if I've ever seen them.
Pals, amigos, yes.
Really the best duo coalition.
Yeah, but
What other words do we have there? None of them are relevant.
Yeah.
Anyway, glad we're all still butt buddies.
Yeah, yes. So moving to the merge, we're introduced with a merge reveal given to us with Pirates of the Caribbean music. That was a thing.
What's the Pirates of the... Oh, wait, no, that's Eyewitness.
It's the more epic one. But yes.
There's nothing more epic than the Eyewitness theme song.
What? What?
Can you Google and play the Eyewitness theme song?
Sure. Eyewitness theme song. Danny, I do want to say that you're right about the visuals, and I wrote down that I thought that there was a lot of good B-roll this episode, including the one where Alex and Evan literally are picking things up and putting them down.
Yes. I wrote down, to go back to the Molly Brennan conversation, Molly laughing with food in her mouth. I don't know why I wrote that down, but I mean, it happened.
Nothing Molly does is pleasant.
Yeah. Well, there you go. She should have gone to Brennan. Yeah.
Ooh, Survivory too.
When that pan flute hits.
Got a little bit of that pan flute, yeah.
You guys never watch these videos?
No, what are these?
There's like science class movie day videos.
Oh, you know what? It does look very, yeah, definitely.
And it's what I always think of when I try to think of the song 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton, our karaoke classic. In my brain, I always hear the Eyewitness theme song.
I can understand the derivative, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
And so I guess the Pirates of the Caribbean song is the same. And also, the fact that you call it Pirates of the Caribbean is like really fucked up.
Honestly problematic.
You call it Caribbean. I don't know what happened there.
Obviously, the region is the Caribbean, but for some reason, it's Pirates of the Caribbean to me.
Pirates of the Noir.
Oh God, that would be in your wine challenge. You could say, actually, that was a Pinot Noir.
Yes.
I think this is a great idea for a challenge. I might just do this for my birthday party next year.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I'm in.
I'll do a Survivor-themed birthday party, but all the challenges will be drinking related. There will still be Dizzy Bat. Everyone's throwing up.
Yeah. Blackout and thrown up by the fifth vote.
I always liked this merge reveal with them yelling behind the wall, just jumping up and down, almost silent.
I like the dual footage coming from outside looking in and then inside looking out. You could see Brandon jumping up and down. This was definitely very fun. And if we're gonna go back to, I think one of the drinking game things is like college things. I think the fishbowl was.
No, I can. It's my fault. I misled you. We have those superlatives. They're not drinking game, but I realized I listed it after I told you about the drinking game. So
got it. Well, college moment for consideration is the fishbowl.
Yes, that's a specifically Maryland thing. But
well, there's also a room called the Fishbowl at Michigan, but it's the computer lab. It's like a huge computer lab with all glass windows and doors and stuff. It's called the Fishbowl.
Sounds more like
do they also film Survivor challenges in there? Now that you are,
I don't know. Maybe I didn't actually watch it. That's like very classic me being like, I'm gonna do this tonight. No, I ended up. Oh no, I had to go do a Pokemon raid, and it took way longer than I thought it would. And
I did see your new friends there, so.
Yeah, I had to go get that grout in by like contacting Michael LeClaire in Los Angeles and being like, I can't do this by myself. Can you get a bunch of friends to help me? So I had to play Pokemon Go remotely and like sprint to the gym because we were running out of time. It was very hot, and then I got home and was like, I'm not gonna start Survivor Michigan right now.
It's fair. It's fair. All right, we're at the merge. So I scored the Fantica tribe name as a meh, but given the puns, maybe it's better. Did you like the Fantica?
What is it?
Was that the result of Brandon asking Siri?
Yeah, sorry, Cruz.
No, I think that it was because of the orange. They were talking about Fanta, and I'm not really sure where the Tika part came from, but
probably honestly Tiki Torch.
Do you want Tika Fantica? Is it Wanna Fanta? Is it that their thing?
Don't you wanna Fantica Tika?
Austin, the individual immunity crown is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
This is a little Jesus-y, if we're being honest.
It's a crown. Yeah, it's like, I know it's laurels, but it looks like a crown of thorns.
I was definitely getting some Jesus vibes.
Some what vibes?
Jesus.
Oh.
Have you heard of him? I know you're Jewish.
Jesus.
That's the 3 Jews that are on this podcast.
Austin, did you know there's a sequel to the Torah?
I
won't spoil it, but one of the main characters, his name is Jesus.
Gen 2.
It's so crazy. It's so stupid though, because whenever they run out of material, like they give the main character a kid, so they give God a son, and it's like he was all soft. There's like no floods anymore.
Is that our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ T?
T stands for Trump supporter.
I'm done
talking about the Jesus crown. I just want to say I feel like this opens up a world of possibilities where like you should have like tiaras, cat ears. Like I feel like things on your head, like a sombrero, like those would be like amazing. The hidden immunity sombrero, not hidden, just
really
regular.
Hard to
the public immunity.
You can wear it underneath your wig, and it's a wig reveal of the immunity idol.
the immunity yarmulke.
I like that one with the clips. You get the clips.
Yes.
I actually was thinking of it less Jesus, more of a like Greek mythology kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which
resting on your laurels, Johnson.
Was fitting because the Pascals are famously derived from Pascalides, and they are Greek, and it felt like it really fit this episode.
Is that
and Pascal is the epitome of a good Survivor player.
Yes, Dave doesn't get that joke. Yeah, they're actually Greek. The Alex Pascal's family.
Does nothing for me.
Yeah.
I guess, should we... I mean, I also want to talk about the dog.
No, they're actually Pascal English, not Pascal Greek. It's another joke that Danny doesn't get.
Very in the dark.
So we go into the memory challenge, and as we mentioned earlier, the blondes get first the woman, but the blondes really get absolutely wrecked in this challenge. And Lita, you consider yourself a blonde, right? I
do. Regardless of what color my hair is. Now it's actually blonde, but I always identify as a blonde, whatever color my hair is. That was very in unison, you guys. I should have done it too. I think that I would have brought honor to my family because famously I came in second in the Survivor Reunion Merge Immunity Challenge. And I do know that a couple people were throwing it, but not everybody. I came in second to Chris LeCompte, which, as I pointed out, is Spanish for the count. So it seemed unfair that it was a math challenge.
What?
It is. Being terrible at that challenge. So the
Comte is French for count.
Oh, you said French. I think you said Spanish for. I was like, I don't think that's Spanish.
No, it's French.
Oh. Okay.
I only know that because I read The Count of Monte Cristo in French, and it's called Le Comte de Monte Cristo. I feel like Le Comte de Monte Cristo starring Chris LeCompte would be an incredible movie.
Danny, also, you're famously good at immunity challenges, right?
Famously, yes.
Only if they're planking for 6 minutes.
Or sorry, memory challenges. I believe
you just meant all of them, but I was like, that's a nice compliment.
I believe the top 3 in the Lake House memory challenge was Maddie, then you, then me. Is that correct?
I believe it was. Yes, I believe it was definitely a lot closer in the top 2 than it was to the top 3.
That's not true.
If my memory serves, and my memory does serve because I was top 2.
Whatever. I am mad that I missed out on a slide puzzle competition because I am famously very good at slide puzzles.
You would not have beaten Madeline. It was truly.
Oh, really? That's weird because given my experience with Madeline, I can solve a word puzzle in literally 1 second, and Madeline takes a half hour.
The issue with the slide puzzle was, and I had this when I did mine, so that it's computer generated and it's random. So my whole first row was pre-solved.
Oh my god!
I'm imagining that like most of hers was solved, and she was like, "I moved one." Did it.
Was it 3x3 or 4x4?
It was 3x3. So it was
Oh my god!
No, but like I did it in like 4 clicks, but you had to spin first for the number of time you got. So I think I spun 10 times and then did it, and it took me like 57 seconds. And she spun apparently like 12 times and solved the puzzle in 31 seconds. I would
like to see video of the challenge because I believe, just like Rachel, that she cheated. But now we're going down an absolute rabbit hole with it.
Yeah, sorry. I have a question about this immunity challenge, Austin. Did you have the symbols planned out in advance, or were you just kind of randomly? Okay.
Just what I felt like.
I liked how one time it was 5 symbols and every other time it was 4 symbols.
It's possible I cut some of those out because I think I did make them longer. Okay. I think I may have just did the ones that matter.
Because I was like, this is weird because you started with 5 and then the next one was 4. It's like
I might have cut it, yeah, for time because I usually went to 5 and then I think 6.
Got it.
Yeah.
This was also probably the highest production value Survivor Maryland challenge that I think I've seen. Like, it came with partitions. We had cubes with like.
Yeah, why didn't you print out the photos?
As opposed to
cutting them out of construction paper.
Because I was an RA and I had a lot of supplies for doing stencils.
Yeah, famous for actually doing your stencils yourself as opposed to making
okay. I guess like yeah. I just feel like, don't you also have free printing at school?
Yeah.
It's just, that would have been easier, but
like, wasn't the visual of having a block that probably took many, many hours to make?
It took a long time.
People that was used for all of 10 minutes in total. Totally worth it.
You should auction those off for charity.
They probably are. I don't even know where they are these days.
I think the symbols should have been egg, steal the bacon tire.
They did
Evan's brain.
In one of the later seasons.
Evan's brain falling out of his skull.
I did like how 2 of the things were almost definitely Maryland related, and then it just kind of like fell off from there.
When I think Maryland, I think first and foremost turtle, but then definitely flower, sun, and heart.
Well, crab is a Maryland thing, though. Crab.
That's true, and it was a blue crab. I clocked that.
Specifically a blue crab. And then it just kind of like fell apart from there. I feel like if we were going to do a Maryland themed cube, we could have done many.
You could have had Old Bay, Love You Bay.
And
Old Bay skin chips, Lita.
What are other famously Maryland symbols? It would have been so easy for you to make the flag, the most complicated flag in the country. Put it on the
right.
You know, there's a lot of issue with flags these days. Let's just give a round of applause to an always unproblematic, great flag.
What, Maryland?
Yeah.
Which represents the Catholics?
No, it's like Lord Calvert or something.
I think it's a Catholic flag.
No, I mean, there's like probably some. Yes, thank you, Danny.
There's crosses on it. Okay. Speaking of unproblematic team flags, I'm so glad that Shannon is instantly drawn to somebody that loves the Redskins.
Oh, damn it. I had that written down as my team moment.
Yeah, the artists formerly known as, but now the best name in team history, the Washington football team.
I love Renee for his Washington football team hoodie.
Yeah. Honestly, we got the 2 best franchise names ever this week because we got the Seattle Kraken and the Washington football team. Seattle Kraken doesn't have tank tops yet. They don't have enough merch.
I am all in on the Kraken.
I am kind of mad that I became such a hardcore Golden Knights stan just 2 years ago because I can't switch, but I will be getting Kraken merch.
Was it specifically because of Marc-Andre Fleury, or was it? Okay.
I didn't have a West Coast team. I was like sort of an Avalanche fan, but it's not fun to be an Avalanche fan.
I used to love the Avs.
Avalanche are definitely more problematic than Golden Knights.
Well, the Golden Knights were supposed to be the Aces, which is way cooler, but the NHL wouldn't let them have references to gambling.
Yes. The Blackhawks is fine, but the Aces.
I know, yeah, literally, yeah.
I didn't properly have an issue with Avalanches until we went to Park City, Utah this year. Like I didn't understand.
You in Colorado Avalanche?
Well, yeah, they're dangerous. They actually can kill people.
Yes.
Yeah, I did know that about natural disasters.
I didn't know that before.
Wait,
I knew that.
It was just like a water slide with
A bunch of snow, and now I can't move.
Yeah, it's like how I suggested that the Washington football team become the Washington Monuments, but then Maddie would still have to boycott because he was in an earthquake in the Washington Monument.
What?
He was like the last. You know how the Washington Monument is closed now? You can't go in it.
Really?
He was like the last group in it because there was an earthquake.
That's really disappointing because
And then Spider-Man stole that.
I think most professional sports teams should be named after phallic objects, and that their mascots should be just like a giant penis.
Where's the one that exists so far?
The monuments would have been
Washington Monuments.
the one that we were thinking of, right?
So they would all be phallic things. So it would be like the Philadelphia snow cones.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, the Denver dildos.
The Denver dildos is pretty direct and on the nose.
Or Detroit.
The Cleveland Cocks.
The New England Roosters.
The New England eggplants.
Yeah.
The Edmonton eggplants.
Eggplants. Everyone's an eggplant.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna get banned from YouTube. We're not gonna get banned. We've done worse.
Did you know that there was a rule on YouTube? I will die before we talk about Survivor Maryland. Did you know that there was? I don't think it's true anymore, but there was a rule on YouTube that you couldn't mention coronavirus or COVID within like the first couple minutes of your video or something. Yeah, because YouTube is like definitely propaganda, but I don't know if it exists anymore. But basically what happened is this YouTube channel that I really love started calling it the Backstreet Boys World Tour. And because they couldn't say, they're like, so the Backstreet Boys World Tour is still going on, their reunion tour, and they just haven't stopped. So they'll constantly just be like, yeah, so we're not streaming together today because the Backstreet Boys, those guys just will not stop. Backstreet Boys are still on tour, selling out arenas.
It actually works a lot, like really well, because when I think of the Backstreet Boys World Tour, I love the sentence, the Backstreet Boys World Tour has killed 140,000 people.
Yes, exactly. People have been attending the Backstreet Boys reunion tour for 5 months now, haven't been able to go anywhere else.
Sorry, Austin, would you like to continue your podcast about Survivor?
We've got
schools everywhere.
Roughly 20 minutes into the episode.
It's going to be a very long podcast.
I was just going to say that speaking of YouTube rules, this is only tangentially Survivor Maryland, but Katie On's thighs broke YouTube.
That's what I was talking about.
In the Generations, the reunion, or the stream game we did when they were doing wall sits, Chris Thomas and Victoria and Katie were like at the down to the wire doing wall sits, and like because you could see both of like a little bit of their thighs, and YouTube just repeatedly kept shutting down the stream for violating community guidelines, and we were like, what the hell is going on? The what?
How do you know it wasn't Chris's thighs?
They I think there was a thumbnail of what they found problematic. So
oh wow,
Katie's figured out.
She's got two sexy stems.
Yes. So Alex wins immunity. LOL, as everyone is very upset. The secret scene thing's not a mandatory watch, but I did put together a montage for after this episode of literally everybody saying they were upset about Alex not winning, and I'm kind of upset I didn't actually do it in the episode, but I also feel like we had plenty of it in there anyway.
Yeah.
We had Nicola saying, this is just, quote from God this episode. Suck it, peons, over Alex winning.
Which I enjoyed because then it clipped to him wearing a Jesus headpiece, which is how we got here.
Yes. So. Not God said, ha ha ha, suck it, peons. I'm going to make life harder for you. Is that, which book of the Bible is that in? Austin, again, the Bible is the sequel to the Torah.
Right.
I think it was in Joseph, the Joseph one.
I don't think Joseph is a book of the Bible.
John.
Yeah, there you go. That's one of them.
John 16.
Joseph is a made-up character by Andrew Lloyd Webber. He had an amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It was amazing.
It was known to be amazing. Yes.
Very gay.
He was definitely gay.
Yeah.
We go to post challenge, and Renee too is devastated by Alex winning, and
devastated.
Devastated, yes. And he calls it a Cinderella story. And did you like this Disney remake, or how did it compare to the other ones, Danny?
I don't know. I think there weren't enough people of color for a good Cinderella story remake. So that's my take.
Yeah, where was Brandy? Is that
what
she was in then?
Brandon?
Yeah. Yeah, Brandon.
I I don't know if I've ever seen any iteration of Cinderella.
Wasn't there one that like Hilary Duff did? That was a
Cinderella story. Yeah, obviously.
Right.
Not just Hilary Duff, but Chad Michael Murray and Jennifer Coolidge, Paulette from Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Which for some reason I almost just called Les Mis.
Oh, Lita, do you have a feeling on Allison Janney?
Yeah, positive.
Okay, because she just popped up on Lost when we were watching last night, and I was mentioning it to Danny, and he was like, "Who?" And I was like, "You know Allison."
Bitch, are you gay?
And then I was going to her IMDb, and she really has like the most absurd IMDb ever. Like,
she's in everything.
Literally everything. And I started to read to Danny, and then he got over it and stopped listening.
Wait, you guys are straight? You've never seen The West Wing?
No.
That's a really straight show. Well, she's on that. She has an Oscar for I, Tonya, which is a gay movie.
Ah.
Is that by Tonya?
I'm writing that down.
By Tonya. It's a movie, so it's too long, but it's pretty good.
I did make it through a documentary this week, so anything's possible.
It was Disclosure, which is also good content.
It averages out to being still straight because it's a documentary.
Yes, Disclosure, a very straight documentary.
I can't. Guys, Danny, you would have seen this if you ever checked our group chat, but I said there has to be an easier way to learn about trans people. There just has to be. I'm not going to watch a documentary.
Right. It's Orange is the New Black.
that caused a visceral reaction in Lita.
If that is your LGBT representation, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, there was carryover between the documentary and the show, was the point.
That all-white cis writer's room really gets what it is to be a trans person in America.
Like, yeah. Who's famous? Oh, Laverne Cox. Great.
She's the only trans person.
Right. The only one.
Famously the only one.
Famously the only trans person.
Like in the world.
Yeah. Okay, Austin, do you want to keep talking about your little show?
No. Oh, Survivor Maryland? That one?
Yeah, not Disclosure.
Yes, let's talk about that one.
I think it's rude that we're doing a boyfriend cast when my boyfriend is out of town. I think Kevin would be great on the boyfriend cast.
I'm expecting Kevin for the next one.
I thought the boyfriend cast was its own thing. I thought we were going to be present.
Oh, when it's just Danny, Mike, and and Derek's boyfriend Alex and Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah, and you should make us watch something or talk about something we haven't watched.
Yeah, like Survivor Maryland.
Right. Exactly.
All right, so we're at the post challenge, and Evan says that it's time to wine and dine people for alliances, which really not only would be good in the real, a good thing to do in real life, but wining and dining people at college would have to be the best way to make alliances and friends. Like if you give people your diner points, if you give them wine, they are not going to turn on you.
What were your dining dollars called?
Turbucks.
No, but Turbucks weren't dining dollars though.
Well, you could use them at Stamp.
Yeah. Okay, so we had a similar system. We had dining dollars and blue bucks, and I attended Michigan for 4 years and still do not know the difference.
Did you eat?
Yeah, I would just be like, "Is this?" Because you scan your M card for both of them, so I never knew which one was charged.
Right.
I know that dining dollars were like meal plan, but some places took dining dollars and some places took blue bucks. So I was just like, I don't know. I just finished my POM practice and I want Wendy's fries. Here's my M card. Do what you will. They could have been charging me $500 for an order of fries, and I would not have known.
We had an on-campus restaurant that took like dining points, and at the end of every semester, there was always like some people who did not use all of their dining points.
Yeah, we had that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
There would be feasts.
But you had to tip on real dollars because apparently the dining dollars are not real dollars, except that you pay money for them.
Right.
Yeah, so my sister swindled me because she was like, "Oh, come to Maryland and I'll treat you to dinner with my dining points." And then I was like, "Of course, I would love to." And then she just like orders everything. And all of a sudden the bill comes and I'm like, "Thanks so much, Chad." I was like, "This is so nice of you." She's like, "No problem. I have so many points. Also, can you do the tip?" And
oh my God.
A massive tip.
You guys had a new vegan on campus.
Did we while we were there?
I don't know. There was one right by my house in Columbia Heights where I lived in DC And I really loved it there. And after I got voted out of Survivor Reunion, I ate the most mac and cheese. I got 2 entree-size orders of mac and cheese from New Vegan and just inhaled them on like the hottest day ever.
Very hot. We also had convenience stores, which is where you could use the Turp Bucks, and that's where I got all my egg deals, actually.
The convenience store was called the Incon because it was only open at inconvenient times. So it was an inconvenience store.
It's like a Pennsylvania liquor store. I like to imagine Austin walking in and say, "Oh, the usual," and just handing you 2 dozen eggs.
The looks that I got from the people there as I stacked like these, because they only had boxes of 6 eggs. They didn't have a dozen thing. So I just stack the boxes of eggs.
Classic half dozen eggs. Yes, hello. Can I have 8 half dozens of eggs?
For what? Sucking them?
Yeah, in your dorm.
Yeah.
I got hopeful this episode because Molly puts herself in the President Sarah position. So it's like, oh, maybe Molly's going home. But then it turns out that every girl must identify herself as the swing vote here because we have several confessionals where girls say that they're the swing vote.
Yeah. Well, to get the Micah Evan chart, we have really 2 sides forming here that are kind of crystallizing. So we have the Soka trio and by extension Alan. And I did enjoy that the word of Alan being like, Shannon, I trust her, got around. And Brandon was talking about it. I enjoy that came back to haunt him a little bit. But we have that side forming and that 4. And then we've got the fearsome foursome core 4 of Renee, Matt, Nicola, and Brandon. And then in the middle, really Molly, Katie, and Alex. So that's where we're at. So I think a lot happening within that, but ultimately sides forming.
Speaking of diagrams, true or false, Micah drew that whiteboard diagram just so he could do that little trick with the marker on camera.
Oh my God. It's so what with the elbow.
He's able to I can't my arm in, but he can drop the marker on his elbow and then pop it and catch it.
Yeah.
But he does it a bunch of times in a row, and I'm like, this is definitely the only reason that Micah got a whiteboard involved.
Yeah, especially because he really needed a new marker. It was running out of ink.
Yeah.
With a carabiner, Pirates of the Carabiner.
Pirates of the Carabiner. Can you tell why me and Danny like each other? Oh, yeah. Okay. It clearly was impressive because I can't do it.
Yeah, I don't know how one develops that skill.
Also, if you're wondering how I explain to work tomorrow that Austin broke my monitor, this is how.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a very impressive skill. I did note that as well. One of the amazing visuals, right, Danny?
Yes, certainly one of the visuals that I had on my list. I also wrote for the pre-merge that you had a sped up moonshot. That was beautiful. Well done.
Thank you. Did that all by myself.
It was great.
I didn't know you could put the moonshot on YouTube.
That was shared over Snapchat, but
I enjoyed. We can just go to random notes at this point before tribal. So I had Shannon says to Alan, "Well, I've never had a conversation with Katie in my life," and Alan says, "I have."
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Brag.
It's like, whoa, you've had a conversation with Katie.
My random pre-merge note is that when Evan answers the call from Alex and he's like, "Are you alone?" I didn't realize that Shannon and Micah had time to leave the room. So I thought when Alex left, they were going to come out of the closet. I thought that they were hiding. And I was like, this is great.
So it would not have been the only time that has happened. There's a moment of that in All Stars that I won't spoil, but there's also in Maryland Outback, since I know you probably won't watch that.
Maybe.
Well, there's a great scene of people hiding from Chris LeCompte,
which we've all done.
Yeah. Alan also thinks the merge is his time to shine. Did you have thoughts on Alan this episode, Danny or Lita?
Who?
No.
Kidding. Yes, good reaction.
In the words of Evan, I don't know who this kid is. I know that wasn't about Alan. That was about Molly, but same idea.
I believe, wasn't it Molly at Tribal, or was it Nicola who was like, "Yeah, Alan, I forgot about you. I'm sorry."
It was Nicola, but they're all like, "Oh, Molly and Alan, I totally forgot about you." But that's a good thing.
Yeah,
that's great. That means you're under the radar. That's a totally valid way to play. It's just that I can't remember who you are or that you exist.
You can't vote for them if you don't know who they are.
Let's talk about Nicola, because she's a pretty big player this episode. And Lita, you have been, I would say you've been lukewarm on Nicola. What was your feeling on her here?
I just still think she's annoying.
Wow. I thought this was a great Nicola episode.
I guess. I don't know.
She took your diplomacy strategy and implemented it into Survivor.
Which is what?
Let the toxic masculinity take each other out.
Oh, yeah. No, I think she's fine. She comes off as a little cocky to me, as my impression that we'll be ready at our next one will indicate. But she always just seems like she's like over it and has like more, like she's just like smarter than everybody else and knows that she's playing better than everybody else. And so it just, I don't know, she just kind of rubs me the wrong way.
I really enjoyed the presence of, and like the presentation of an all-girls alliance. Sans one of the 4 girls in the game.
Yeah, you can just call that an alliance between 3 people. You are not required to identify it. But I promise that when 3 boys decide to work together in Survivor, they do not call it a boys' alliance.
I've been tweeting along with all the hashtags several years late. But
hashtag girls alliance.
Instead of hashtag girls alliance, it was like hashtag most of the girls, but not all of them.
It's 3 people that happen to be girls alliance. Austin, also, these are women. Okay, these are young women.
Truly. Although you're not really a full person until you're 25 and your frontal cortex has been fully developed.
Oh, hey, I just made it.
Congratulations on your frontal cortex.
Welcome to personhood.
Oh my God. Welcome to personhood? Oh, I believe in abortion up to 25 years of age.
You previous amorphous blob, you.
Life begins at prefrontal cortex finalization.
Right. Yeah. Anyway. Also, I really got a kick out of this Girls Alliance, especially because like the alliance part of it was like, hey, let's work together, but also not really. I mean, kind of like we won't vote together or talk to each other, but like we'll maybe keep each other in the loop about things.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
And especially while they were all trying to vote together. Like it was a little different than the whole like Renee and Shannon bridge conversation.
Which I also wrote down that we're a bridge, which I enjoyed. Didn't know what it meant.
Yes, and like, they're about as strong of a bridge. Oh, my computer just went weird. They're about as strong of a bridge as most of America's bridges in the failing infrastructure that surrounds bridges.
Bridges, which is what we're known for.
That is honestly because snakes were my biggest fear. I think bridges are my new biggest fear.
I famously don't drive over bridges or highways, but it's not because I'm scared of them collapsing. It's because I always need to know that I can pull over while I'm driving in case I get overwhelmed. And you can't pull over on bridges. So I don't do bridges, tunnels, or highways. It's very difficult to drive in Pittsburgh.
To aid this fear of yours, have you ever seen the videos that they used to show in physics class of of bridges resonating at their like resonant frequency, and then they would just
there's specifically a famous bridge.
I didn't get movies in physics class. I had Mrs. Goggenauer. We didn't get movies. We got torture.
Yeah, I still have beef with her.
Yeah,
but
me too.
That's a different podcast.
Yes. Please tune into Danny and my podcast reflecting on high school from the perspectives of people who were there at the same time but never had a conversation.
Okay, Lita, would you like to have a podcast called I Still Have Beef with Her?
Where we just go over people that we still have beef with.
2 worlds, 1 family. That's the theme song for this podcast.
I mean, it's also just an actual song from a movie.
What is the song?
From Tarzan, Phil Collins. 2 worlds, 1 family.
You'll be in my heart.
That is also a Tarzan song. Correct.
Also by Phil Collins.
So by Phil Collins.
We had some other random moments. We have the Fearsome Foursome gets together for a meeting, and this was our first 2020 moment in that they had a virtual meeting.
I know. I was trying to figure out what software this was, if it was Skype or Zoom.
That was the thing I wrote down.
Yeah.
That it is called, I lost it.
You mentioned it earlier, and I never heard of it. It's called like Screencaster or something.
Yeah, that one. I'm on like
Screencaster.
Who knows where I am at this point?
I hardly know her.
Yeah,
I thought it was a Google Hangout, but I think that maybe that was the recording feature.
It was Screencastify. That's what it's called.
Screencastify. I also asked, why is Brandon's impression of Alan a 19th century politician?
What did he say?
He was impersonating.
Alan was like
impersonating Alan.
I'm really best friends with Shannon.
Oh, great.
Sorry, Danny. Did you? ahead.
When I think of Alan, which is never.
If I think about it.
Full stop.
Also, I feel like the 2020 prediction was that Fantica kind of sounds like Antifa to me. Antifa. It's the same cadence. Fantica, Antifa.
Sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just on my brain right now.
I also wrote that, and speaking of 2020 moments, we had Katie coughing, and then she was clearly very sick in her confessionals. So Katie had COVID 2015?
Yeah.
Yes, anybody who was sick had COVID.
I mean, we have patient 0, and then we have patient on. So
I mean, the more 2015 thing is that people continue to be in a room with her after she coughed.
Yeah.
I feel like you hear somebody cough now, and you're like, I quit Survivor. I will medevac.
Or the fact that we had like a bunch of joint confessionals where we had like Alex and Evan, and then Alex, Katie, and Evan, and then Alex and Evan for the 11th time, and then Evan and Micah.
Wait, so that's so 2015 moment is being in a room with somebody?
I know. Doesn't it suck?
I mean, I had the moment of watching the challenge when like I would space them out as the more people got out and being like, no, don't put them in each other's spaces. They touch that stuff.
They need to be 6 feet apart.
So we were, there's a lot of people jockeying back and forth. I don't think we need to talk about it too much before maybe we'll get to the Alex and Evan scene. But any other kind of random hitter thoughts before we get to that moment right before Tribal and then Tribal?
I have one. I spent a lot of time this episode looking in the backgrounds of people's dorm rooms in college, specifically for That's So College or That's So 2015 moments.
Mm-hmm.
Giant Friends poster right in the middle of view in Molly's. That's been there for
that checks out for Molly.
It aligns with everything I think of Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that this is like a little bit more of an Easter egg, but a lot of product placement in the original Evan and Micah shot from the beginning of the episode. If you look on the like the top of the dresser, there's just all of his like grooming supplies all lined up nice and neat for everyone to see. So
also some product placement for Victoria, who is randomly in several shots this episode.
Who was at the
I didn't see him. I think I just like literally don't know what he looks like from before I met him. He looks really different, but this is like the third time Austin's one of you have pointed out that Chris Lacoste is in the episode, and I could not identify him.
He had a buzz cut. He was writing down all of the random collection of shapes and things that Austin was writing down. Austin was saying out loud. So that someone could remember them, because no chance Austin was going to.
That was not my job. It's not my job.
That is not my
job.
That is not my job.
Go back to Drake and Josh. That's so whatever year that was.
2003.
Wait, Drake like the one from the car song? Okay. All right. And then right before Tribal, we have Alex coming to Evan and being like, dude, it's you. Play the idol. And actually, this is like one of my... Lita, having watched this for the first time, because a lot of people were like, you should have not included that scene because it ruined suspense. And I went very back and forth. Those were my hard decisions, because like I think there's still suspense about like they could put the votes on Micah and like they could switch it into Cola, but I don't know if you really care about that. But what did you think of this?
Well, I also think it's not necessarily like it doesn't ruin the suspense, because you don't know that Evan's going to listen to Alex.
Yeah.
Like Evan seemingly has a good relationship with Alex, but I don't think it's like beyond possible that Evan would hear this and be like, well, Alex is kind of like nutty, and like he's got immunity, so he might take a big swing right now, like telling me to play my idol when that's not the case. So I think it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility for somebody to lie to somebody about playing their idol, to Amanda Kimmel if you will.
Yeah. No, I completely forgot what happened here.
Danny was asleep.
I was asleep for probably this episode and all of the other ones.
Burn.
But I definitely also had the same experience where I thought, I don't know if Alex is telling the truth. Who knows if he's gaming Evan? You clearly can tell that Evan doesn't know if he can trust Alex either. And like even up to the point where we're at Tribal, like it was set up very nicely where I didn't think that I thought there was a possibility Evan might not even play it.
Well, I also felt like Evan was probably going to play it regardless of if this conversation happens, and not just because he has two idols. I think if he doesn't have two idols, then maybe he still doesn't play it here. Like, we have no idea. But when you have two, and it's the merge, and like the person that everybody was going for has immunity, I feel like there's no reason not to play it here.
Yeah, the classic like Survivor tribal thing is you always say the opposite of what you're going to end up doing. And then when he was like, yeah, it's like way too early to play your idol, I was like, all right, so he's going to play his idol. But then knowing Evan as a human, I was like, but Evan could be totally reverse psychologying people.
Reverse psychology.
Right, which ends up being some sort of like a
Psychology.
540, and we're back to where we're going to be. I thought Evan was like lying about lying, and then wasn't going to play it, but it worked out for him, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a pretty transparent lie. I didn't think it was he didn't win the Oscar for that one.
Well, but that was the point, is I was like, oh, it's such an obvious lie that maybe he's lying about lying. But then I started getting into my own head, and then I got a headache, and then we had to pause and like drink water and calm down.
Did both of you like the move from Alex's perspective? I know we don't go too much into strategy, but
yeah. I don't have an opinion on this.
I do. I think I actually like it, because I think from Alex's perspective, I think he, based on the last vote, is understanding that he is on the outs of something that he thought he might have had a better opportunity to like sneak in, like post merge with. And I think he's realizing that his numbers are dwindling a little bit. Like, he had a confessional in this episode where he talked about I think it was like right after he won immunity, how important it was for him to win immunity, because I think he realized that he was a little bit on the outs. And what did you say?
A lot of it
on the outs. But I think like anything for him to basically cling to trust with somebody else is so significant. So the shots of like him hanging out with Katie this episode, him reaching across the aisle to Evan, like knowing full well that Evan has at least Micah, and then there was whispers of him with Shannon. Like, I think it gives, now that we're at 10, it gives the potential for Alex to at least have a group of 5 if he's with Soka Trio and Katie. So I think like it's probably the best move from Alex's perspective, because otherwise, if Evan goes home, then there's just like no one for Alex, and then they just pick him off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with it, just because Alex is so obviously next anyway that I feel like he has nothing to lose. So like, why not try to gain a little bit of trust? But I feel like I would generally, unless you're like totally dead in the water in the way that Alex is, I do dead in the water. I feel like this is not a great idea, just because like, if it's not going to be you, just like go with it, obviously as immunity, and don't necessarily tip off the other person, because that could blow shit up and then make everybody really mad at you. But I think it's fine here because everybody's already trying to get him out.
Yeah, but I generally agree with you, Lita. Like, the Sandra Bland style of playing Survivor seems to have worked for her.
The what?
Sandra Bland?
What's her last name?
Sandra Diaz-Twine. Sandra Bland.
Oh my God. No. The Sandra from Survivor person.
Yeah, the anybody but me. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the anyone but me.
Danny is canceled. Canceled.
All right, bye everyone. We're at the end of the episode anyway, right? That was it. See you later.
Big yikes energy. All right, how do we bounce back from that and talk about Tribal?
Next on your question list, Austin.
I didn't have a lot of notes about Tribal, and we
I didn't either.
need to wrap up on the sooner side. But I did like that they said to Alan, "Do you even go here?" as he's wearing the hoodie pulled up very tight, and it did very much remind me.
She doesn't even go here.
But it's literally like the hoodie from
yeah.
Girls. Yeah. He just needed sunglasses.
Is Alan the Damien of Survivor Maryland?
No, he's not.
Why? It's Brandon because he's gay? Wow, Austin.
Didn't say that. I'm not canceled here, so it's fine. I usually am, but not today. Any other thoughts on the Tribal from either of you?
I didn't know who was going to get voted out here, and that was fun.
Yay.
I felt like that Evan was going to play his idol, so it wasn't going to be him. But I also feel like Alan is not in a great spot here, being the obvious 4 out of 4 in the Soka Trio. Yeah. It's not called the Soka Quattro.
Yeah, Alan known for his strategy.
I don't. He's not known for anything to me. So
or to anyone else apparently.
Yeah.
Alan is Dom Harvey's favorite Survivor Maryland player ever. So
Shocking.
Tom Harvey has famously bad opinions.
I enjoyed. Speaking of tribal, I enjoyed you asking Evan about what are the relationships, and that he turned around and just started pointing out who all of the duos were in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, everyone's cards were on the table at that point, so I liked it, and I also like that he successfully dodged the obvious about Soka Trio there.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
So in the end, Evan negates 7 votes and survives. Soka Trio, Soquat Troa, whatever, stays alive. And let's try to transition into the end-to-end superlatives. So Lita, so now that we're at, on the surface, you've got a 6-4 based on the vote, but Alex obviously kind of playing both sides a little bit. Where do you see this going?
I mean, you have to think that Alex is the fish out of water going forward. You have to think that he's the next to go because, I don't know, maybe there's an immunity run, but it feels like at this point it's a lot easier to rule out winner contenders than the last couple seasons, I think. Like it felt more like anybody's game at the merge, but right now there's so many floaters. It's just like, where are Alan and Molly going? Where is Alex going? So I feel like you can kind of see the next few weeks stacking up, but also I've heard that the season's a little more unpredictable. So we'll see where it goes. But I feel like Alex is definitely on the chopping block next.
Well, who would be those people that obviously the end result, but who would have been your winner potential people at this point?
I feel like the Soka Trio is just like so much more in the driver's seat, but then on top of that, also Nicola is somebody who's like thinking very strategically, and Katie. But I feel like it's a lot easier to like rule some people out because there's so many kind of like invisible floaters.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm scrambling for more Alex and Molly content. Alan, yeah.
Danny, do you remember who goes down next or no?
No.
We're not going to ask the question.
I mean, I'm not invited back, but it's fine.
You've already decided. Danny, do you want to be on next week? No, I'm not invited.
Sorry, I wasn't invited.
That's a great excuse to not go to something.
As you're being invited.
As you're being invited. Sorry, I wasn't invited.
No, I think for the rest of the game, there's so many big personalities that are in this. Like, of the seasons of Survivor Maryland that you ran, you had some very, very good casts. I think this is one of the better ones.
It's more well-rounded which like doesn't necessarily always make it better, but I think if your style is like a couple people, I feel like we had Felipe and Victoria make it almost like a Ghost Island where it was like Dom and Wendell and company. And that's fine. That's like a way to do it because then you're guaranteed to have big characters, narrators, people to root for. And the fact that it was 2 women of color was like very refreshing. But this season is more balanced where it's sort of like a clash of a lot of different Titans rather than just a couple people driving the season.
Yeah. And I think because of that, it's likely, which is the point that the Girls Alliance was putting together, but like all these big personalities are just going to work to get each other out, and the floaters and the people who can bounce between them. And I think those are the people that have the best potential chance, just based on what I've seen. So that's my prediction.
So you're saying Alan is going to win the season?
I think Alan is going to win, but not ALLAN Alan. I think ALAN Alan has the best possible chance, and ALLEN Alan is second.
What about ELLEN?
I think Ellen canceled.
True.
Well, speaking of cancel, let's go into superlatives. Lita, besides Danny, who was canceled this episode?
I would definitely say Ellen DeGeneres.
Right.
Was canceled. I should start looking up like when this week aired and who was canceled that week.
She also, when we were in the grocery store yesterday, I saw at the, like right before you check out, they have all the People magazines and all the things that I definitely buy and read. On the cover of one of them was like basically Alan's life in shambles. It's all falling apart.
Because people found out she's a demon from hell.
Deservedly so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think anybody was canceled this episode, right?
how do we feel about
Just Shannon saying that as long as somebody has the Washington football team jersey, then she's all in.
Katie on calling Matt a bitch in the way that we don't like.
Yeah, basically women, they can't remember things and they can't be PC.
Women are canceled.
Women are canceled.
Yeah.
The Girls Alliance of 3 of the girls.
What is our opinion for best quote?
What did we talk about?
I like.
Oh, I I'm your RA, right? Next year I will cut you if you break this alliance.
I liked Micah in the challenge being like, I think I got it, and Austin saying you did not.
Yes.
Narrative.
Yeah, I mean those are both good takes.
Just generally, butt buddies apparently is really resonating with all of us.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Austin, not Austin, Evan not knowing who Molly is.
I think mine is I've never had a conversation with Katie in my life. I have.
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Points for Alan. Best moment overall.
Probably Katie losing her shit.
That was good.
Oh, wait, the other quote was Micah's list of things that he was expecting.
Yes.
But the merch was not on it.
I also best one for me also the general reactions to Alex winning immunity.
Yeah.
It's always fun.
Ha ha ha, peons.
I liked Alex calling Evan and then just the absolute scramble that ensued.
Yes.
Like this like Darth Vader-esque music walks down the hallway towards the door.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
And also the idol play where Alex is maniacally laughing.
Yeah. But like all of them none of them looked all that shocked by it, which maybe
I think you can see the
sacrificial lamb.
Oh, I thought Lita had like a very big take, but it
No, I had a yawn.
Very big yawn.
Out of all the butt buddies, which is our favorite duo or butt buddy? Remaining.
Molly and no one.
Molly is the 11th wheel.
I mean, Micah and Evan, but also just Micah. I love Micah. He's the world's coolest aunt.
Do we have a best player?
Lita, you will get that one day.
Oh yeah, you don't know the world's coolest aunt. Yeah. Best player of the episode.
I mean, you got to go with Evan, right? If you negate 7 votes against yourself. Although I guess my philosophy is that it's more impressive to not get 7 votes against you in the first place. I don't know. Maybe Shannon, because everybody's still like coming to her with everything.
Yeah, and she doesn't have any. No one really ever wanted to put votes on her. That's a good point. I think Nicola pulled together the 7 coalition pretty well.
Well, that worked out really awesome.
It did, right, but still props for swinging votes.
They still got numbers. Yeah, Shannon's definitely very worried going forward about like being so outwardly in that driver's seat between the two groups.
Literally, because she's apparently in her car 24/7.
Right. I was imagining as we saw those back-to-back scenes, because she was wearing the same outfit too, that she literally just like went, picked up Alan, dropped him off.
Get in, loser. We're going strategizing.
Went, picked up Renee, drove around campus, dropped him off. Went, picked up Micah.
Yeah. Doing her rounds.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, mobile strategy sessions is really the move. You can be anywhere.
You should have given everyone a golf cart at the beginning of the
season. Terry wouldn't have been able to complain about how far away he was.
Truly. Yeah, instead of using your entire season's budget making those cutout boxes, you should have just put the golf cart.
Elena gave her take for best duo, so I just wanted to put that up there. Katie and Alex def.
Yeah, that's a pretty good duo.
Do we have a top That's So College moment? We've listed a few.
I mean, we have the 2015 one being the song, I think. I don't know about college. Maybe having a Friends poster in your dorm.
Yeah,
college.
That was like high school teenage.
But I feel like it's very like basic college girl to have a Friends poster in your dorm.
It's the girl version of Zach's like almost like naked woman.
Like the girl in a bikini on a car. Yeah. Well, the girl version of that actually is like that Audrey Hepburn poster that every girl has.
Which one is that?
It's just like a black and white poster of Audrey Hepburn that every white girl has, including my sister.
What did you have? What were your college posters?
Mine are all musicals.
Oh, you're talking about the one with her in sunglasses with the towel over her head? I have no idea what I'm looking
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I found it.
Everybody has a poster of Audrey Hepburn with like the cigarette lighter.
Yes.
No. Not the cigarette lighter, the long cigarette. I don't know. Whatever. My posters in college were all of musicals or I had like a lot of photos. But my room has here at my mom's house has gigantic Lady Gaga posters, but I did not take those to college.
Reasonable.
Will those be moving to the new place?
I have a framed Rolling Stone cover of Lady Gaga that will definitely be coming. I also have a photo of a raccoon that I always bring with me everywhere because I'm my favorite animal. But I haven't determined what other wall decor will be there because it's the first time that it won't just be like my bedroom. You know, it's
so, does Kevin get a take or an opinion?
He does, unfortunately. Yeah, so we have some mutual decor that we have agreed upon. So we'll see what other posters may. I also think I may have grown out of gigantic Lady Gaga and Fall Out Boy posters on my wall, but we'll see.
Huh. I think we gave the Fish Out of Water award.
Mm-hmm.
Alex.
Alex, yeah, he's gonna have to backflip out of the water. Backflip out of the water.
And who is the leader of the pack this week?
I don't know, Danny. What do you think?
How are we defining that? Are we defining like who's in the best position or who's like running the game?
Or who's your favorite?
Well, I mean, Micah's my favorite by far.
Micah is also my favorite.
Is it Micah this week for his diagrams?
Yeah, for his arm trick.
Been the debut of a Katie win, but
I mean,
well, yeah, I think Katie is in contention for me because she's like she lost her best friend, and I can't say played it cool, but got out of it seemingly without being the target at all.
Yeah, no, I think that she successfully, I agree, blew up Matt and like put some thoughts in Matt's head that we'll see if they stuck at all at any point, but like. Yeah, and then he was not upset with her at all about it. Like, didn't even think about it twice.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just like keep her close. Cool.
Katie then?
Yeah.
Well, Micah's still my number one. Forever, ride or die. But.
The Danny of the pack will be Micah. Okay. Well, we definitely have had a nice long one. It's been very fun. Lita, you want to plug anything?
Yeah. I am on Twitter. I just completely blanked. I am on Twitter at Lita Tweeted. I'm on Instagram at Lita Grammed. Actually, I was on a stream with Taryn this week, and I mentioned that I have been doing this, and multiple comments saying great job on the Maryland recap.
Oh,
so,
yeah, following you, the legions of fans. I don't. It sounds like
it's Brill stands. Lita Brill stan. Maybe.
Brilliant. No, I don't know.
One brilliant strong. But yeah, so you can check that out, and I don't know, keep going to protests because it's not over, and keep matching donations and things like that.
Yeah, and Danny, I'll just say when they say her name with these things, maybe don't say it on Survivor Maryland podcast and totally out of context.
Say her name does not refer to Sandra Diaz-Twine.
Yeah.
Nor Prince Oberyn. Game of Thrones.
I have a plug.
Yes.
I will not plug my social media because I am
at dhoff5 on Twitter.
Nope. I am famously I'm famously not using social media right now as much as I was previously.
Thank God that I got that follow in from you.
Right.
For you.
I'm now Facebook friends with Lita, so you can go follow her at Lita Graham.
So you can add her on Facebook.
And you can follow me on Duolingo at Danny70234618.
Add me on Backgammon Galaxy. It's Back Brillman. That's actually real. You can add me on Pokemon Go. I will not read out my trainer code, but maybe I'll tweet it. I'm really good about sending gifts.
Well, Austin and I have started Arabic as of this past week, so we are 7 days in,
Did
and
you really?
I am smashing him in terms of XP, whatever that
Why did you start Arabic?
Similar to
is.
Hebrew.
Where what?
It's similar to Hebrew.
Do you speak Hebrew?
No, Danny does though.
A little bit.
I can read it as long as it has vowels.
Yeah. I was like, oh, let's do a language, and Austin was like, Arabic. I was like, okay.
A hard one.
Would have preferred like
Hard one.
or Spanish,
Like
but
French.
right. Well, I mean,
We have to, once we plan a trip, that'll be the next one. It'll be like
that's my plug for this episode is Italy. Let's go there, and hopefully,
Kevin and I were also thinking about going to Italy before all this COVID hit. We were thinking Ireland or Italy.
well,
we
we should do a little meetup and podcast in Italy.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
we're
what
definitely going to do a podcast. The
Yeah.
number one thing. This is like when Taryn and I went to Las Vegas we basically just podcasted and went to the American Ninja Warrior finals. People like number one activity to do in Vegas at 3 a.m. is definitely attend, watch people do an obstacle course over and over and over again.
Yes.
Well, I will also
I will plague. I would like to plague.
wear a mask, social distance,
Mask for mask.
spread, and flatten the curve.
And flatten the earth because we are all flat earthers.
Yeah, or it's already flat.
Right.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, everyone, and we'll.
You can follow Austin at Ostentatious with 11 S's.
I'm hoping that there will be some Survivor Maryland news this week from good old Anders. So, for people who are looking for that, I'm hopeful this week we'll have some news.
Put that pressure on Anders.
I'm going to put the pressure on him. Yes. All right. Goodbye.
Love you.
Love you.